Thank you so much for joining us on another episode of The Trading Bell. My name is Malika Kazia. And of course, today we're taking a deep look at the advertising industry. And I'm actually at the offices of WPP-Scangroup. And I'm talking to the Chief Executive Officer, that is Bharat Thakrar. And we're going to get into the nuances that are surrounding the advertising industry, as well as this company in particular. And of course, pick his brain about what he thinks are some of the trends that are happening within advertising, whether that's we're talking digital or beyond. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for asking me to speak with you.
Absolutely. So even as we get right into the conversation, you know, the advertising space, it has evolved so much over the last couple of years, especially when we talk about the digital age and the digital revolution and the advent of social media, you know, reaching that peak as we've seen in quite a few markets. What would you say is the current state of advertising in Kenya as well as Africa as a whole?
I think it's more what's happening globally, because I think what's happening, I think now, as you know, the world has become a very small place, and I think technology has really made that happen. So I just give you a very simple example of what used to happen, and what used to happen is not helping our clients anymore. Okay, so if you looked at 15 years ago, television was the main medium, radio was a more penetrating medium, and so it was a simple exercise of create a piece of communication. So create a TV ad or create a campaign. You run the campaign on above the line media, which was TV, radio, print, and that was it. And the message was always very passive, okay? So it was like, I am this great product, I can do ABC, and therefore, please buy me, okay? And then we used emotional hooks to convince people. So it was more like, I don't know if a lot of viewers will remember the old Omo advertising that used to happen, right? You had two kids coming out of neighboring houses, and one of the kids, the shirt was more whiter than the other one, and the other mother was more prouder because her son wore a shirt that was more brighter.
Yes.
So it was like, Omo makes your clothes more brighter. And so that woman was more successful. She knew what decisions to make for her children. And buying the detergent was a good decision. Now that sort of advertising doesn't work anymore. Pure and simple, consumers have changed. The way they think has changed. And I think more important is today everybody's exposed because of technology. If you look at the mobile phone, right? You can go and Google anything. You can find out more about anything. So everybody's become a lot more intelligent in terms of their expectation from the products or services that they buy. So they have become a lot more discerning. Okay, so passive, emotional hook advertising doesn't work anymore. Number one. Number two is not everybody watches TV. In the old days, everyone tuned on to the 9 p.m. news. So if you put your ad before that, you know, you're bound
golden.
to get, you're done. You got this blanket coverage. You took a front page Solus, what you used to call FPS. You take a page 3 or page 7, take a full page ad, and everybody's seen your ad. Today it's changed, right? Not everybody's reading the newspapers, not everybody's watching TV. But more important, even if they are watching TV, TV is still a strong penetrating medium, and so is radio. I think it's more about how can you engage with the, you know, with a consumer positively.
So on a deeper level as well.
Yeah, but it's more about the consumer needs to like you as a brand. The consumer needs to have a good feeling about you as a brand to be considered, okay? So what we call is just generating awareness. So tomorrow if I stopped you and asked you, do you know of detergents that are available? You'd probably, 1, 2, and 3, you'll probably remember the names, yeah? Because you know, I mean, you've seen the advertising somewhere on the line. But the one that comes on what we call top of mind, okay, we call that TOMA score. So what is a TOMA score? TOMA score means what is top of mind. So if you are closer to top of mind, you're more likely to consider buying the product, okay? If you're not top of mind, then you're not going to bother about buying the product, right? So I think the key thing is, how can we make the brands top of mind? How can we make the consumers' likability score higher for the particular brand? Okay, so that it's an opportunity. It started off as a challenge. Now it's an opportunity. So the idea is, how can we engage with each and every consumer, right, in scale and in a timely manner? So we want to be able to reach out to every consumer in a timely manner and be able to engage with the consumer. So if the brand engages with you, you're more likely to buy the product, okay? So if you look at a much more sophisticated product like a motor car, okay? What you will do, because the investment is high, you will take your time, you will investigate, you'll go to the showroom, you look at 3-4 different cars, you'll consider which ones you want to buy, you will Google them, you will look at their specs, pricing, everything, and then you'll come to a pretty conclusive decision.
Yes.
So what has happened, there's been a lot more engagement before a decision is made for a very expensive product like a car. But if you go down the scale and look at more daily consumer products or services, right, then that is a lot less engaging for you, okay? Another example is an airline. When you're booking online, the engagement you have with the airline is starting from the time you book, from the time you check in, from the time you board the aircraft. So you are engaging with the brand at various different stages. And if one of those experiences is bad, the overall experience is seen as negative. Right? So our job as custodians of our clients' brands is to help them navigate their way across all this. So how can we find easier ways in scale to engage with the brand? How can we make sure that the experience that you are facing is well recorded? We are then advising the clients in terms of how they can improve their different engagements so that the overall TOMA stays high, and therefore the consideration is higher for them to buy a particular brand. Okay? So what is happening is that the whole industry, about 3 years ago, everybody said, oh, the advertising industry is now dead. It's being seriously, disrupted by technology. But I think the truth of the matter is that's not what happens. What has happened is our industry has seen a huge structural change in the way we service our clients. It's not just about creating an ad anymore. Yeah? We still have to be creative, but how can we be creative in a manner, in a way that we can engage with consumers a lot more proactively, okay? And therefore, what we do now and what's happening not only here globally is we use a lot of technology. So we're using a lot of technology to be able to engage more effectively.
So
okay?
it's not that it has led to the structure becoming obsolete, but it's revolutionized it.
Yeah, absolutely. So therefore, we've had to change the way we think. We've had to change the way the kind of quality of offering that we give. Okay, so we have to build a huge technology offering now. Okay, so fortunately for Scangroup in 2010, we invested in a very strong technology setup company called Squad, right, which was a joint venture between us and a very big technology company in India, and that helped us get into that space. So Squad was always ahead of the game in terms of technology because the foundation was more developers. The foundation was more it was all about how can we make technology, how can we use technology to engage with customers and consumers. Okay, so I'll give you an example of what we've done recently in Squad. We've developed a platform which is used by banks called Optimus.
Okay.
And what this platform does is when you, hypothetically, if you're online and you look for a bank to buy a house loan, okay, and you see this particular ad of a particular bank, and you will send a message to that, or you'll go onto their website and there'll be this thing, contact us, you will write a message to them that I would like to get a car loan or a house loan. What used to happen is there was no one attending to that message when it got to the bank, or if there was somebody attending to it, it was manually done. Okay, so what we've done is we've automated that process. So now when a lead is created, the lead is immediately followed up, right? So the lead goes to the right person in the bank, and we try and then the lead, there is follow up on the lead with you. So up to a point where you've taken the house loan. Once you've taken the house loan, then we will end up cross-selling something to you. So what about insurance? What about a credit card, et cetera, okay? Because by this time, we have a lot more information. The bank has a lot more information about you, right? They know who you are. They know what your net worth is. They know what your family structure, et cetera.
So it's targeted.
So it's a lot more targeted, right? So how can we use data? How can we analyze that data more effectively, right? So we call it data analytics. And how can we better target you messaging? So when you get messaging is more targeted towards you, okay?
Okay.
Another example I give you is that there's no point us talking to men when we are talking about hair care and beauty products, right? We should be targeting more to women, and we should be targeting more to a targeted group of women who are likely to buy that product, right? So it's about targeting the messaging. It's about being more relevant to the consumers and finding the channels that are real time.
Well, we're going to take a very short break right now, but of course we'll continue this conversation. Stay with me.